This little fella right here, his story starts in 1956. Kind of an orphan. It's been orphaned 2 to 3 times throughout its life. Got me an old one here. We're gonna fix her up, show you how to get these things running, and give you a little story on these wonderful little locomotives. I'm Ron with Classic Model Trains. Let's get into it. Well, here is a close-up of this loco. I wonder if it runs. I've never put it on the track. It's here and I've been just staring at it the whole time. We got our all juiced up. I don't expect it to do anything. 7 volts. Yeah, nada. It's not drawing a lot of amps, but yeah, we ain't got nothing going on. So good candidate for a take apart and fix. Nice looking model here. Got the brass cantoners on it and all brass under here. I wonder what it weighs. 1 1/2. That's not very heavy at all. Not really. To get inside there. Oh, now this one popped up and I didn't even want it to. Thanks. Now I'm gonna end up breaking it. I can just see that. Ugh. 6 screws. 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. And of course they gotta be little bitty ones. So 3. Flip it. Find the last one. This ain't no quick change, that's for dang sure. Oh, look at that. Light bulbs at both ends. Soldered on there. Well, we're gonna have to unsolder it right there. I didn't anticipate that. Soldering iron's already hot. That's what I wanted. There's the piece. Get this out of the way so I don't break it. I'm spinning this and it's tight. You could tell it's tight. I mean, the gears. And then when you turn it, then it's loose. Yeah, see all this here. What I'm trying to say is the drive gear slipping on the driven gear here, some. And when it's not sticking, it's super hard to turn. There, that wasn't that hard after all. So I'm suspecting to get those out, to get in here to grease these up and lube them, we're gonna have to take out a whole bunch more screws. 4 here, 4 here. You see that it's all driven one big go. Popping off or changing the depth of this gear here is going to take place underneath of it. So I believe all roads lead to disassembly in this area. 4th one here. Can I get lucky and just take this plate off? What's going on here? Okay. It's coming off like that with the front truck. Get these little screws out of there. Sure. One wheel's not driven. Yes. Interesting. There's not an ounce of lube to be seen. We're going to get this screw out of the way. This screw. And it looks like these frame rails will open up. And I can slide this truck assembly out. This should come out. Just the top. Yes. It's biting. Here in the back. It's not making me happy. There, now it is. Can that then do out? Yes. Worm gear. This thing. This screw here is holding on our motor. These must be shims that just fell out to shim this pinion gear depth. These are all plastic. Here in this other kit, made by Penn Line, all these components are actually made out of metal. That makes this, oh, look at this. These are zinc. Yes. All, yes. So much better. Holy moly. 5-pole motors. This one's got a wick in it, the older Penn Line one. This one don't. Now there's just, oh, well, this is the Lifelike one. Because right there's the numbers that Lifelike likes to stamp on the bottom of stuff. Yep. That's what they've done to it over the years, you bastards. Well, what's this kit thing going on? Well, let me show you. It turns out that these molds have been passed around like an old cheap bottle of moonshine. It was made under so many different names. Originally started off manufactured by Penn Line starting in 1956. Beautiful kit, all aluminum, everything metal, good stuff going on. Nice instruction set made for it. Nice little box. Oh, my geez. Bro, why? I wish I could have grew up in this era where everything was just like this. It was just done. Penn Line Manufacturing was founded in 1947 up there in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. The cast metal GG1 was a huge part of their production line. They made a lot of them. But turns out it's not built to scale at all. It was made shorter so that it could handle the 18-inch curves, the radiuses for the, for the entry-level sets. The catalog price for this thing back in 1958 was $49.50. And that was a lot considering that an average weekly income was around 98 bucks a week. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. You adjust that for inflation for 2024, that brings that kit up to $537. In the online research I found that when one of these come up for sale that they go for a lot of money. I don't really think they do. The one that I'm working on, the one that's being fixed right now, I bought it for like 65 bucks on eBay. So is that a lot? Is that a lot for a 70-year-old locomotive? It's a nice conversation piece though, I think. Yeah. Penn Line decided to dip their toes in the old electric slot car market. And they engineered this nice little set that was endorsed by A.J. Foyt. And this set had some problems and failures, and it caused them to file for bankruptcy in 1963. Now here's where it gets juicy at. Here's where it gets confusing on who, oh my goodness. Penn Line Manufacturing got acquired by Bowser. So Bowser has some of their stuff, but Bowser didn't pick up the GG1. Varney Scale Models was founded in 1936 by a fellow named Gordon Varney. Now he's coming along and decided to buy up some of the dies that's left over from the now defunct Penn Line. And he ended up getting the GG1 dies. In 1960, Varney sold out and sold all their stuff to what would become Lifelike. Saul Kramer was out there kicking around, but Saul never sold anything other than scenery stuff under the Lifelike name until 1970. So that's why we've got this kit right here it's got the Varney branding on it. And it's almost it is the exact same kit. Even on some of the pieces on it have Penn Line molded in. They didn't even bother to change those out. Sold like this until 1970. 1970 seems to be the last year that the GG1 in this configuration was available. It was branded under a Lifelike box, and then I guess they just sold off whatever was left, and they haven't made any more of these things ever since. So it was made by Penn Line, and then it almost went to Bowser, but it didn't, and then it went to Varney, and then Varney decided not to play trains anymore, and then it went to Lifelike. But the guy that bought Varney kept the Varney name for quite a few years until he decided to change it all to Lifelike. And then Lifelike ended up getting bought out by Walthers, and oh my, it's just like, there's quite a bit of history that goes on in just trying to figure out what molds came from where, and it's just getting passed around, like things that you pass around. Just everybody's had a little bit of this model here for some weird reason. Now I want to thank old Dave Hoover for sending these two kits to me here. Dave Hoover, Caboose 1973, Channel 1, Channel 2. Does a lot of rail fanning videos, and he also does a lot of model railroading. The guy just absolutely loves the trains. These ones came from him. I scared this one up off of the eBay, which is the same as all of these. Lifelike, Varney, Penn Line, exact same. And then Tyco come along and spawned these things on us right here. These GG1s, they are the same length as the Penn Line ones, but they blew it on the drives. Oh my gosh. I have to wonder if the engineers, when they got done making those, they sat around and patted themselves on the back and went out the door arm in arm down to the bar to celebrate, or if they sat there curled up in the fetal position in the shower on the floor rocking back and forth, hugging their knees, going, what have I become? What kind of engineer am I? Because it's just terrible what they designed for those. And then lo and behold, Mahano comes along and gifts the world this. It's scale length. It's, you know, it's everything that it's supposed to be. This thing, big and long, compared to this tiny little, and quiet, runs like, I'll show that later on. Runs like a dream. Them Mahanos, them people out there in former Yugoslavia, Slovenia they are now, they put out great stuff that is underrated. Amazing, amazing. Now this was sent in to me from a viewer. This brown one here came from William Hughes out of the New Jersey area. This black one came from Dave Hoover out in Massachusetts. And this silver one, it was sent in, and dang it, I didn't write it down in my book right away, and I don't know who sent this one in. And I don't know who sent this beautiful beast in either. I apologize so bad. I want to send those out. If you guys are watching the video, leave a comment and say, hey, it was me, you dum-dum. Write my name down this time. I try to keep good records on who sends me stuff in so I can thank them, and somehow those two slipped through the cracks. Let's get back into fixing this GG1. Get her running. Let's just get this one out of the way also, so we don't have to drag everything around. I neglected to do this the last time I was working on something. Got a lot of backlash. Bench testing. Of course, I would bench test this one because I don't, you know, these older ones, I'm not real familiar with them. Sure. That's doing everything that you'd ever think that it would. It's got one of the cleanest commutators I've ever seen for not having just cleaned it. So I'm going to say this one here, we're just going to give her a little taste. Here, how about one back over here? Just the tiniest little peck. This being all plastic, it's not even very pretty now. I'm really disappointed in it. Horseshoe mode. These wheels are electrically isolated from each other, and they're picks up from the axle. So you can see the insulated ones, there's a black plastic that the axle goes into, and the conductive ones, the axle's going right into the center of the wheel. So since it's picking up right rail and left rail, we got to make sure we put these in the right direction. So I'm not going to take this one apart yet. I'm going to work on one truck at a time. We're going to fiberglass pencil all the wheels. This one doesn't do any picking up, or does it? Where is that motor? What did I do? I just lost that motor. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it picks up here and here, so the rear wheel doesn't do anything. We need to make sure that there's conductivity. I mean, that thing did nothing when it was on the tracks. So we kind of have to find out why. That's weird. Well, not really, because it's going through the motor. Time to clean and shine, clean and shine. Just got done cleaning everything up here. And this is what I'm doing, inspections on them. The wheels are clean. And I think I found out why the drive, it was tight. This bushing right here, and they put this gear on too tight. And there's no free play. If you see this one here, I can grab it and I can move it just some. This one, there ain't no movement. That's telling me that they jammed this gear on too tight and it's putting some pressure on this bushing. So am I going to be able to open this up some? Who knows? Oh, yep, I can. Ah, there we go. Fantastical. So now, yeah, that bushing is still tight, but there is free play in it now. Is it dirty? Maybe it needs a little mineral spirit bath. Maybe it's got some scoob up underneath of it or something like that. I don't know. But I just didn't like how it was still kind of stuckish. Oh, yep, there we go. That brought it around. So there was something underneath there. Sure. Always something. This had a little bit of oil in it, so I just mineral spirited everything off on that. Just want to start fresh. Now we got to wait for this to dry. Dang it. Because you can't lube it if it's got the mineral spirits. This stuff does evaporate. Yes, that is much, much better. Farting around, I see that this horn hook it's not gonna continue to want to be in service anymore. They've got a very small little area through here where this it doesn't even have like a lid on it. We're gonna pop this little brass screw out in here. That's going to pull, okay, you rotten bugger. We're gonna take the truck off from the bolster screw. And then we're gonna pull this out. And you see it's just sitting in there. But as you know, over time, this little plastic, this is supposed to be like a spring, gets tight and it doesn't want to spring anymore. Nobody wants to run those anymore either. So let's put some whiskers in it. You think a 148 standard whisker will work? Let's see. That pin is up now. I wanted one. That pin is really in there. Almost looks like a guy should have a long shank. Well, no, I guess that's pretty close. Now, is it going to stay in there? Because there ain't much room for a lid on that. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. And that pin there is larger than my fuel line trick. The fuel line ain't going to fit on that to tighten this up. This is really flopping around. And there's not a lot of space on there to drill that and tap it, because you need this area to move. Or see, that pin is like right underneath that. Maybe we need a number 5. I wonder if I can put it in upside down, and then the whole assembly will just kind of, no, not really, no. Well, we could always go to the Katie website and see what they have to say. Sounds like a plan. Well, this should be easy. Coupler conversions, HO scale, Penn Line, Penn Line, okay. Nope, not there. How about for Varney? Varney GG-1. Oh, well, it must be under the lifelike trains. What in Lord? Oh, come on now. Nope. No Katie conversion, not bolt-on. It's gonna have to be custom made if one wanted to do it. This is the one that came out of there. And, this thing can fall right at your feet and then immediately disappear. Now this hook right here, it's not springing very good. This one here has got a good spring on it, but this little tail part right here, it's too long. So it binds up inside there. So I ended up putting in, because I've just got these. If somebody's like, oh, those things, I hate them, I'm throwing them away, say, give them all to me. Because I've got 3 different kinds of XF2s, otherwise known as the horn hooks. And once I put that in there, and once I put that in there, I got my spring back, see? This other one, it don't work. It's lazy. And that doesn't work because it goes around a corner and it disconnects. No other options. You know, I mean, there is. The reason this pivot's clear back here like this is so that it could get around 18-inch radiuses. If a guy wanted to get cute, you could hang a box right here, drill it, tap it, screw it, and then you'd have what's called a chassis mount coupler. And you wouldn't have a lot of movement here and it wouldn't be able to do tight turns. So the reason this swings like this is so you can navigate it better. Now that I've had this front truck off, I'm going to get this over here because this is sitting like this. I can see the black insulators right there. I want these black insulators opposite. This has got black insulators on both sides. So it looks like it doesn't matter. Put her in like that. Now what I do with the, oh, goodness. I lost that. Tough day so far. Yep. Sure. How about some GG1 fun facts? Pennsylvania Railroad, built for them, built by them. It was known for its striking Art Deco shell, its ability to pull trains at over 100 miles an hour, and had an operating career of almost 50 years. Between 1934 and 1943, General Electric and Pennsylvania's Altoona shops They built 139 of these GG1s. The GG1 went into service in 1935 for the Pennsylvania Railroad and later ran on successor lines Penn Central, Conrail, and Amtrak. GG1 was 79 feet 6 inches long and weighed 475,000 pounds. Frame of the locomotive had a ball and knuckle in the center of it, which let the trucks do the pivot thing so that way you can navigate around a little tighter corners. The body wasn't articulated, but the drivetrain underneath of it, it was. Interesting. The operator sat kind of in the center of the thing, oil-cooled transformer in it, and it had a steam generator for passenger service. Had a pantograph. Each end of the thing was there to collect the 11,000 volts at 25 hertz to navigate this thing down the track. 11,000 volts, my goodness. Whenever they operated it, they're going forward, they leave the forward pantograph down and use the rear one. And according to the Wikipedia, they did that in case they're using the front one, and if it was to break off, it wouldn't knock out the rear one. So apparently they had problems and they knew. The oil-cooled transformer that was in it was used to step down the voltage to supply all the traction motors. It had 12 385 horsepower electric traction motors to drive the 12 wheels, 6 axles, 57-inch drivers, 2 motors per wheel. Thing was big. Oh. Now the sad part of the story is where it goes bad. 1969, the Pennsylvania Railroad merged with New York Central to become Penn Central, and they brought along their 119 surviving GG1s. Go figure, Penn Central went bankrupt in 1970, and all of its freight operations were taken over by the government-run Conrail. They used 68 of the GG1s in this service. They ran these up until 1980, which marked the end of the electric freight. 1971, Amtrak comes along, purchased 30 of these GG1s for $50,000 a piece, leased a few more of them, and did the passenger service up and down the East Coast line there for a little bit. The last GG1s that were in use were assigned to the New Jersey Transit System for use on the New York and Long Branch commuter lines. The last GG1 to pull a freight train was in October of 1983, giving it 49 years worth of service life. That's a heck of a pull. Many of these things have been scrapped. 15 of them are on display in museums, but they'll never be able to run again because they had to remove the transformers because the oil that was inside of them contained PCBs, is what the Wikipedia said. So it's a hazardous waste. So they had to, and so now you'll never see another GG1 operate ever again. Just some interesting fun facts there on the GG1. Interesting, more interesting than I knew. Of course, they were East Coast, so us Midwesterners, we never got to see the dang things. Hey, since we've stopped right now, I know what we ought to do is this week's Classic Model Trains Classic Model of the Week. You guys know who this is? If you do, throw it in the comments down below. If you don't, stick around to the end. We're getting closer to the end. The more I keep talking, the more I keep fixing, the more we're going to keep getting there, and let's get back into it. So we need to get our motor back on. These 2 pins right here kind of hold the front from flopping too much. Wish it was a little better than this, but it's not. It should have more. So we got this silly shaped screw. It's going to go down in here. It's going to end up screwing in right there. One good snuggin', and that is all she's got. Got our driveline, worm gears. I'm going to put those in next. I don't think I'm going to be able to get any grease underneath of these bushings because of the way they are. I guess I could take the plastic off and grease them. So we'll just give them some Earl. Get the squares lined up. Come on now. Yes. Oh, spinning much better. And man, is it way off. Look at that. God. Okay. Well, we know why it's like that, because they had this gear pushed on too far. There's just a little bit of front and back play, so we'll just pull this gear out some to get those to line up better. That's no big deal there. We took these little shims out here, and we're getting a lot better mesh between them 2 gears. It's not too tight, it's just right, if you ask me. Super lube, multi-purpose synthetic. I want these worm gears right in here. Little love on them. Some here, some here. Let's flip it, and we'll do it again. I don't have a lot of opportunities to do this. Here I should have put this guy in. It's all right. Just take this out. Get this in here. Get it out of our way. Put this back in. Little practice. Give me a chance to get better at it. So this guy's gonna live like that. We're gonna put a little grease down here on these bushing journals. Making sure I'm putting my wheels in opposite of these for the pickups. Insulated side over here. Insulated side over here. Except I gotta do it again now because you put this one in first, right there. Practice makes perfect. Get this cover here on. This will certainly help hold everything down and together. See this guy? He goes in up over here, like when you put the motor on. So now I get to take all of this apart for the third time so I can get that thing in. There's stuff that is so easy to forget about because you get excited to get done. But practice, practice. There's a chance I could just loosen up this motor some. Yeah. And then put this under there. It only fits in one way. Yep. Okay. Don't forget that piece. That's what makes the whole thing work. So I'll come back to you when we got this all back together again. We are back. Assembled, everything put together, cleaned up, ready to go. I pulled this gear out a little bit to line this up better. Should we throw a little juice to it just to see what it does? Yep, that's a little, sounds like the 50s. Absolutely. Wonder if we can put a little bit of, think we could put a little grease on that, maybe it'll some. Yeah, I don't, some. Spread it out here a little bit before I throw the motor to it. Spray it all over my computer monitor. Okay. Now, what do you think it's going to sound like? Just as bad? Oh, that's quieter. Yeah, just sprayed grease all over. Sure. Except for this. Okay, yeah. It didn't change the world. Got some sprayed over here. Yeah. Cleaned all the wheels. Cleaned these front ones up. Looks like I just missed this one. Although it ain't picking up anything. Both of these are isolated from the axle. But this is just, poor. You got to make sure they're all cleaned up. They're all rolling on your track. You don't want them spreading out the filth. This is going to go back in here. One there. One there. We're tightening up the screws, and then I got to do the exact same thing for the rear set. Just to hold this together, keep all the parts. Take all this apart, do the same thing. Coupler, clean the wheels, grease the gears. Yep. I'll be back when that's all done. Now we got this one all cleaned up and greased and a new fresh coupler put in there. All we got to do now is get the drive line in. I only had to not take it apart very often at all because I made all the mistakes on the first one. We will get the coupler lined up here and then get the screws back on right there. Okay. Tighten these up underneath here. Get the soldering iron warmed up because we got to do a little creative soldering. Let's come under here and give these front trucks lead trailing. These guys, just a little taste of Earl. I don't think I did this one yet. This guy got some love. Come down into here. Get this soldered back in. Should be able to put this on the track. And it should do something for us now. They always say lawyers never ask a question that they already don't know the answer to. And I used to like to make sure that the thing is going to run when I put it on the track. And last week's episode with that Mantua motor that burned out and smoked, we kind of missed out on it. So now it's like time to film everything. Transformers on, twist the wick. Oh, we had something that took place and then nothing. We are pulling full. Oh, jeez, what the hell is it? This is. That certainly isn't what I expected. That's pathetic. I mean, that's more than having to be broke in. We're pulling 9 volts. But see, the electric juice isn't getting through very well. No amp draw. So we got poor pickup. Why? God, I cleaned everything up. Strange. That's something. Sure. That's not how I like to have them come out. I like them to run right out of the gate. Why do we have such bad pickup? I wonder if I should replace that super lube for some conductive stuff. Because this is terrible. That is not. That could be creating a problem. You know, unless we have to just run it in for half an hour, and I say if you have to do that, you didn't fix it. I set the body on there, and now our performance is quite a bit different. It doesn't have this, you know, it didn't weigh anything. And it would still run in some more, but I'm quite happy with this. It is definitely moving. Well, I guess we better get those headlights wired back in, soldered in, and get this body bolted on. We're almost done here. Got our headlight wires wired, soldered back up right in here. That tape I put on didn't do me any bit of good. It's kind of a nice little body. It's got a nice paint job on it. So I'm using my fancy stand here to protect it as much. I'm not used to having nice stuff like this. We're gonna work on getting all 6 of these screws in, one at a time, snug them, but we're not gonna crank them down until they're all 6 in, because there might be a little adjustment that needs to take place. 3, flip it around and then decide over here. Because of the way that it is, it can actually be off. This is what squares everything up with the world. Yup. Boy, that really wants to be kind of a hassle too. One here, one here, one here, one here. 6 1 up here in the front. Now we can really get on them. I don't know if you noticed, but those screws kind of had like a wood thread to them. Would have been nicer to see this with a nice machine thread. Because you can certainly tell by putting these in that it's ick. Those threads are... And then using the old standard head screws, thank you. These trucks where they moved, I did leave those just a little bit loose so that I could, you know, move those, adjust this. Interestingly enough, these got these little levers right here on the side that unlocks them. So when you push them down, give them one of these. Oh, now. Sure. And it's supposed to hold them. All brass, yeah, springs on them, holy moly. But I don't have catenaries, and it sure doesn't lock down straight. It looks silly like that, but that's the way it's gonna run. Let's see if we can find something for it to pull. Hey, I think I found something good for this thing to finally pull. I got a line of these passenger cars here, 1930s. These are lightweights, Bachmann Spectrums. Lighted. Oh, sure. There's a whole mess of them. Whole mess of them. Absolutely. Oh, I love it. I got a lot of cars on it. And it's pulling as good as I'd ever hoped for. Oh, man. That's a nice little passenger setup right there. We're almost out of track space. I gotta shut her down. Here's some upcoming projects going on over there. I know, we'll be able to back this. Probably can't back this up. Okay, hey, look at that. Looks silly, don't it? Gotcha. Loving it. Here comes that Mahano. Shh, listen. Oh, now, guess I can't have those up. Pulling in just a little shorty set of heavies here, but wow, is that nice and quiet. Very nice and very quiet. Love it. Another week down, another one in the can. This one was a lot of fun. I like the history and the fact that I could find this history online. I feel bad for the modelers back in the 80s before the internet. How the heck did you ever get any information? Holy moly. They had to spoon feed it to you in subscription magazines, I guess. This, yeah, and it pulled. Oh man, did it pull. Loved it for sure. I'm coming up with an idea of making channel memberships. And, you know, just YouTube says I need to do that. It keeps bothering me to do that. And then you have the different tiers, and I figured I don't know what to put in them. So I figured I'd ask you guys, the 33 percenters, what would you like to see in a membership that was offered from the channel? What could I offer to you guys that would make it worthwhile to want to buy a membership? And we're going to see if maybe nobody wants a membership. I don't know. See, I'm throwing my seeing how that works. This is the Friday before Memorial Weekend 2024. I got to edit just this ending in right now, and then I got to upload it. So it's going to be up here just this afternoon. Some of you guys might be watching it in an hour and a half. I'm Ron with Classic Model Trains. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching this whole thing. I'm losing my voice. Goodbye. Oh, wait a second. Bye-bye.